Welcome to our channel, where today we're diving into one of the most iconic personal finance books of our time, Rich Dad, Poor Dad by Robert T. Kiyosaki. This book has inspired millions to rethink the way they view money, wealth, and the behaviors that can lead to financial freedom. Rich Dad, Poor Dad tells the story of Kiyosaki's upbringing with two father figures. Poor Dad is his biological father, a highly educated man with a stable job, but constantly struggling financially. Rich Dad, on the other hand, is the father of his best friend, a man who never finished high school, but became a successful businessman and millionaire. Through their differing approaches to money, Kiyosaki illustrates the contrasting mindsets that differentiate the wealthy from those who continue to struggle. The core principle of the book revolves around financial literacy. Kiyosaki argues that our education system is designed to train people to work for money, but not how to make money work for them. He emphasizes the importance of understanding assets and liabilities, illustrating that the wealthy focus on acquiring assets that generate income, while the poor and middle class often acquire liabilities, mistakenly thinking they are assets. Another key takeaway is the concept of the rat race, a cycle where individuals work hard to earn money only to spend it on expenses, leading to the consistent need to keep working without building long-term wealth. Kiyosaki introduces us to the idea of escaping the rat race by investing in real estate, stocks, and other income-generating ventures. Furthermore, Kiyosaki encourages readers to develop an entrepreneurial mindset, stressing that true wealth often comes from owning your own business or investments rather than working for someone else. He discusses the importance of building financial intelligence through education, smart investments, and risk-taking. Rich Dad, Poor Dad also touches on the power of mindset and the belief that anyone can achieve financial success with the right guidance and drive. Kiyosaki believes financial freedom is accessible to everyone who is willing to break away from traditional thinking and explore new possibilities. Whether you're just beginning your financial journey or looking for strategies to enhance your wealth-building path, Rich Dad, Poor Dad offers timeless advice that challenges conventional thinking and empowers individuals to pursue their dreams. Here we are going to explain this in a very easy way, so a 10-year child can understand easily. Let's start. Hi there. Today I'm going to tell you an amazing story about money that a man named Robert Kiyosaki wrote. When Robert was growing up, he had two dads who taught him about money. Now, he didn't actually have two real dads. One was his own father, and the other was his best friend Mike's father. Robert's real dad was super smart. He went to great schools, got excellent grades, and had a really good job working for the government. But guess what? He always seemed to worry about money and never had quite enough. Robert called him his poor dad. Mike's father, on the other hand, didn't even finish high school, but he was really smart about money and became very wealthy. He owned businesses and bought things that made him more money. Robert called him his rich dad. The interesting part, both dads gave Robert advice about money, but their advice was completely opposite. And that's what this whole story is about, learning which advice really works. Let me explain this in the simplest way possible. Imagine you have a piggy bank, right? An asset is anything that puts more coins into your piggy bank. It's like a magic money-making machine. A liability is anything that takes coins out of your piggy bank. Here's an example. Let's say you buy a lemonade stand for $20. Every week you make $5 selling lemonade. That lemonade stand is an asset because it keeps putting money into your piggy bank. Now imagine you buy a really cool video game for $50. That game is fun, but it doesn't give you any money back. In fact, your parents have to pay for electricity when you play it. That video game is a liability because it cost you money and keeps costing you money. Here's where it gets interesting. Most people think their house is an asset, but Rich Dad said if your house costs you money every month, like your parents pay a mortgage, property taxes, and repairs, and it doesn't give you money back, then it's actually a liability. A house only becomes an asset if you rent it to someone else and they pay you money every month. Rich people collect lots of assets, things that make them money. Poor people collect lots of liabilities, things that cost them money. That's one of the biggest secrets to becoming wealthy. This sounds weird, right? Everyone works for money, but here's what Rich Dad meant. Imagine your mom or dad goes to work every day. They work hard, and at the end of the week, they get paid. That's working for money. They trade their time for money. But Rich Dad said smart people make money work for them instead. Here's an example. Let's say you save up $100. You could spend it on toys, liabilities, or you could use it to buy something that makes you more money. Maybe you buy supplies to make friendship bracelets and sell them at school. Or maybe you loan that money to someone who has a business and they pay you back $110 later. Now your money made you $10 while you were sleeping, playing, or doing homework. That's making money work for you. You're not trading your time for money. Your money is out there making more money, all by itself. Rich Dad told Robert, poor people and middle-class people work for money. Rich people have money work for them. Lesson 3. Why school doesn't teach you about money. Have you ever wondered why your teacher teaches you about math, reading, science, and history, but never teaches you how money actually works? Robert wondered the same thing. His poor dad would always say, study hard, get good grades, so you can get a good job. But Rich Dad said, study hard, get good grades, so you can buy companies that hire people with good grades. See the difference? School is super important for learning to read, write, think, and understand the world. But schools usually don't teach you how to save money wisely, how to invest money to make it grow, how businesses work, how taxes work, how to tell the difference between assets and liabilities. Rich Dad said, if you don't learn about money, you'll spend your whole life working for people who did. That doesn't mean school is bad. It means you need to learn about money outside of school too. You can read books, ask questions, and start learning now, even as a kid. Lesson 4. Mind your own business. This doesn't mean mind your own business like when adults tell you not to be nosy. It means something different. When you grow up, you might get a job. That job is your profession. It's how you pay for food, rent, and clothes. But Rich Dad said you should also have your own business on the side. That's your collection of assets. Think of it like this. Imagine you have a job walking dogs for neighbors. That's your profession. You earn $10 every time you walk a dog. But what if you also started buying things that make you money without you doing anything? Like buying a share of a company called a stock that pays you money each year, creating a YouTube channel that earns money from ads, writing a book that people buy over and over again, buying a vending machine that people put money into. These are your assets, your business. Your dog walking job pays your immediate bills, but your assets are building your future wealth. Rich Dad said, keep your day job, but start buying assets. Keep working, but make sure your money is working even harder. Lesson 5. How the rich use companies and why it matters. Okay, this part is a bit complicated, but I'll make it simple. When most people earn money, here's what happens. They earn $100. The government takes taxes, let's say $25. They get to keep $75. They spend that $75 on stuff they need. But when rich people own businesses and companies, it works differently. Their company earns $100. They spend money on business things they need, maybe $30. Then the government takes taxes on what's left, maybe $17. They keep $53, plus they got all that business stuff. See the difference? Business owners spend money before paying taxes, which means they can keep more of their money. It's all legal and fair. It's just knowing the rules. This is like knowing all the shortcuts in your favorite video game. The shortcuts are there for everyone, but only people who learn about them can use them. Lesson 6. The 5 big obstacles that stop people from getting rich. Rich Dad taught Robert that 5 main things stop people from building wealth. Obstacle 1. Fear. People are afraid of losing money, so they never try to invest or start businesses. But Rich Dad said, losing money is part of learning. It's like when you fall off your bike when learning to ride. You don't stop trying, you learn and get better. Rich people lose money sometimes, but they learn from it and try again. Obstacle 2. Cynicism. This is a fancy word for when people always think negatively. They say, that'll never work, or I could never do that, or rich people are just lucky. Rich Dad said cynics never get rich because they talk themselves out of opportunities before even trying. It's like saying you'll never be good at soccer without ever kicking a ball. Obstacle 3. Laziness. You might think, but I'm not lazy. I work hard at school. But Rich Dad meant a different kind of laziness. It's when people stay too busy with unimportant things to focus on important things. Like someone who watches TV for 4 hours but says they're too busy to read a book about money. Rich Dad called this being lazy while staying busy. Obstacle 4. Bad habits. This is super important. One bad habit is paying everyone else before paying yourself. Here's what that means. When your parents get paid, they immediately pay the electric bill, the water bill, the phone bill, the car payment. And if there's anything left over, then they save or invest. Rich Dad said, do it backward. Pay yourself first by putting money into savings or investments, and then pay the other bills. This forces you to be smarter about money. Obstacle 5. Arrogance. This means thinking you already know everything when you don't. Rich Dad said, what you don't know costs you money. If you're too proud to admit you don't understand something, you'll never learn it. Smart people ask questions, read books, and admit when they need help. They're always learning. Lesson 7. Getting started, even as a kid. Now here's the exciting part. You don't have to wait until you're grown up to start building wealth. Here are some things you can do right now. Step 1. Find your big reason. Why do you want money? Maybe you want to buy something really special, help your family, donate to people who need help, have freedom to do what you love when you grow up. Write down your reason. When you have a strong reason, it's easier to make smart choices with money. Step 2. Choose to learn every day. Every day you have a choice. You can spend your free time watching random videos, or you can learn something about money. Maybe read a book about money, ask your parents about their bills, watch a business video, or start a small business. Remember, every rich person was once a kid who decided to learn about money. Step 3. Choose your friends wisely. Rich Dad said to hang out with people who talk about money in smart ways. If all your friends just want to buy toys and games, you'll probably do that too. But if you have friends who talk about saving, investing, and building businesses, you'll learn from them. This doesn't mean abandon your friends. It means find additional friends who think about money differently. Step 4. Learn fast and make mistakes. The world changes quickly. New ways to make money are invented all the time, like YouTube didn't exist when your parents were kids. Rich people learn new things fast. They're not afraid to try things, mess up, learn, and try again. Think of it like learning a new game. At first, you're terrible. You lose. You make mistakes. You don't understand the rules. But if you keep playing and learning, soon you're really good. Step 5. Pay yourself first. Here's a fun activity. Every time you get money, birthday, allowance, doing chores, immediately put some in savings before spending any. Try the 50-30-20 rule. 50% for spending, 30% for saving, 20% for investing. Even if it's just quarters and dollars, you're building the habit of paying yourself first. Step 6. Give to others. This sounds backward, right? You're trying to build wealth, so why give money away? Rich Dad taught something magical. Whenever you feel like you don't have enough of something, give it away first. If you feel like you don't have enough money, give some to charity. If you feel like you don't have enough friends, be a friend to someone. If you feel like you don't have enough happiness, make someone else happy. Robert tried this and found it really worked. When you give, somehow more comes back to you. Plus, helping others feels amazing. Lesson 8. Examples of assets you can start building now. Let me give you real examples of assets that kids and teenagers have built. Example 1. The lemonade stand that grew. A girl named Emma started a lemonade stand. After she made some money, instead of spending it all on toys, she bought more supplies and hired her little brother to run a second lemonade stand. Now she had 2 stands making money. That's thinking like Rich Dad. Example 2. The YouTube channel. A boy named Marcus loved making videos about his Lego creations. He posted them on YouTube. After a while, his channel got popular and started making money from ads. Now his videos make money even while he's sleeping. That's an asset. Example 3. The dog walker who became a boss. Sarah walked dogs for $10 each. After saving her money, she bought some professional dog walking equipment. Then she trained her friends to walk dogs too, and she got a small fee from each walk they did. She turned herself from a worker into a business owner. Example 4. The digital artist. Tyler loved drawing on his tablet. He created stickers and sold them online. People bought them over and over again, even though he only had to draw each sticker once. That's making his creativity into an asset. The big difference in thinking. Let's compare how Poor Dad and Rich Dad think about the same situations. Situation. Your parents can't afford something you want. Poor Dad says, "We can't afford it." Rich Dad says, "How can we afford it?" See the difference? One stops thinking, the other starts thinking. Rich Dad taught Robert to always ask, "How can I?" instead of saying, "I can't." Situation. Making money. Poor Dad says, "Study hard so you can work for a good company." Rich Dad says, "Study hard so you can buy a good company." Situation. When things go wrong, Poor Dad says, "Play it safe, don't take risks." Rich Dad says, "Learn to manage risks. Avoiding risks is the biggest risk of all." Situation. About their house. Poor Dad says, "My house is my biggest investment." Rich Dad says, "My house is a liability. My investments are my assets." Why this matters for your future. Imagine 2 kids, Emma and Jake. Both get $10 a week for allowance. Emma, thinking like Poor Dad, she spends all $10 every week on snacks, games, and stuff. After 1 year, she has $0 and a bunch of stuff she doesn't use anymore. Jake, thinking like Rich Dad, he spends $5, saves $3, and invests $2 in buying things that make money. Maybe supplies for a small business, or with his parents' help, a tiny bit of a company stock. After 1 year, he has $156 in savings. His investments made him a bit more money, and he learned how money works. After 10 years, Emma still has nothing and is used to spending everything she gets. Jake has thousands of dollars saved, assets that make him money every month, and skills to build even more wealth. The habits you build now will follow you for your whole life. Here's what Rich Dad wanted Robert and you to understand most of all. Being rich isn't about how much money you make. It's about how much money you keep and how hard that money works for you. Someone could make $1,000 a month and spend $1,100 going into debt. They're getting poorer. Someone else could make $500 a month, spend $300, and invest $200 in assets. They're getting richer. It's not about the size of your allowance or your future paycheck. It's about what you do with that money. Your money adventure starts now. The coolest thing about Rich Dad's lessons, you can start using them today. You don't have to wait until you're a grown-up. Start small. When you get money, divide it into spend, save, and invest. Think of one small business you could start, even just for practice. Read books about money. You're already learning from this one. Ask your parents to teach you about bills, taxes, and investing. Look for assets, things that make money, instead of just liabilities, things that cost money. When someone says you can't afford it, ask, how can I afford it? Remember, every rich person started exactly where you are now. They were once a kid learning about money. The difference is they started learning and never stopped. Conclusion: 2 paths, 1 choice. Robert Kiyosaki ended up following Rich Dad's advice, and it changed his whole life. He became wealthy not because he had a high-paying job, but because he built assets that made money for him. His poor dad worked hard his whole life, relied on his salary, and struggled with money. His rich dad learned how money worked, built businesses and investments, and became wealthy. Both paths are open to you. You get to choose which advice to follow. The best part? You're learning this while you're young. Robert didn't learn these lessons until he was 9 years old, and he wishes he'd learned even earlier. You're already ahead. So remember, assets put money in your pocket. Make money work for you, not the other way around. Learn about money every day. Don't be afraid to try, fail, and learn. Pay yourself first. Give to others. Think, how can I? Instead of I can't. Your adventure with money starts right now. What will you do with it? Comment what you learned from this and what next topic you want to be explained. And don't forget to subscribe us. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one.